Okay, we're going to have a serious talk about meditation. We're going to talk in detail about what it is, how it benefits us, and how to practice it. We're going to talk about how it relates to religion. We're going to talk about some topics, how it relates to our ability to think and how it works with our mind. We're going to talk about how meditation helps us remove our fears, how meditation helps us deal with our desires, our ego, our wisdom, our habits. We're going to discuss about meditation. We're going to discuss how to practice meditation. We're going to discuss the different types of meditation, and we are going to discuss some things which might challenge your belief system, so please be open-minded and ready for that. So, first of all, what is meditation? So, broadly speaking, meditation is meta-thinking. It's our ability to think about ourselves and about our thoughts. It's what we call self-awareness. So for example, a computer might think in that it executes a certain program, it executes a piece of logic, and it comes up with a solution to a problem. However, that computer may not be meta-thinking in that it's not thinking about how it's thinking, it's not thinking about why it's thinking, it's not thinking about what is it thinking about. And when you start to think about these things, you start to meta-think. So for example, we as human beings think about, why am I thinking about this? Why should I care? Is there a God that created me? We have a sense of self, and we're aware of ourselves. We think about ourselves. We think about how we could improve ourselves. We think about how we can educate ourselves. We think about how we can relax ourselves. We think about our habits. We think about our day-to-day activities. We think about many things. We think about our relationships. We think about how we could manipulate certain things. So, thinking about all of these things is meditation. And not simply thinking about these things, but also feeling and understanding these things through a process of watching your breath, relaxing, watching another object, becoming self-aware through understanding the energy circuits around yourself, are all different forms of meditation. Studying is a form of meditation. Singing, running are forms of meditation if they help you become self-aware, they help you understand yourself, they help you explore your being, and they help you become a better person. We'll start with the simplest of meditations, which is simply to watch your breath. You watch your breath, you let go of anything that you're thinking about and focus on watching your breath, as it's the most important thing in life. It is the life force. Now let us continue and talk about what that does. When you watch your breath, you become more relaxed. You acknowledge that nothing is more important than your own being. You acknowledge that your relationships are not so important. Your job, your security, your food, your hunger, all your basic needs, your pains, nothing, your fears, nothing is as important as your own very existence. Once you realize that nothing is as important as your own existence by watching your breath, and you start to shut out the outside world and come to yourself and your own inner being, you start to recognize who you are. So who are you? You're a composition of different things. You're a composition of the mind, the body, the soul, the subtle body, your own astral projections, your shadows, your energy, your blood, your bones, your nervous, your eyes, your mouth, all your organs, your skin, your mental presence. All of these things make you who you are. Your place in the world, your place in the galaxy, your place in the universe. Your place relative to all the particles which make you. You are a being, very special, very unique, created through the composition of all of these elements. Through your own being, you self-realize by watching your breath who you are. And as you realize who you are, you begin to realize that you are very special and you are the being of your own. However, you are a very small being in this whole vast universe. A very small being. And that realization should help you with elimination of your ego. Imagine if aliens came to Earth. They would not be able to differentiate between who is the president and who is the normal worker. To them, all might be humans. Just like if there was a group of ants going down the street, they're all ants to you. One is not superior to another. They're all equals. When you realize this, you will begin to have a sense of equality with everyone. You are no longer superior to anyone. You are no longer junior to anyone. You are simply a being, a part of this universe. The four minds that cause thinking are ego, desire, wisdom, and habits. These four minds cause you to do the things that you do on a daily basis. Some things are driven by habits. You do it every day, so you continue to do it. Other things are driven by wisdom. You realize that you need to do something, and so you do. Other things are driven by ego. Something makes you feel good. Something makes you feel important. Something makes you feel unimportant, and you fight it. So these kind of things are driven by ego. Your actions are driven by your ego. And then there is desire. You want something and you take action towards getting what you want. All of these things are great when in balance. When they go out of balance, then they can become toxic and harmful. You might go out into peace if you have balance. Just relax. Why do we fear? When we have desire, we fear that we might not get what we desire. We become anxious. When we have ego, we fear because we might not be ashamed, we might lose face, our ego might not get satisfied. When we have habits, we become afraid, not because we need to be afraid, but because we have been afraid of something in the past, and we continue to be afraid. Sometimes we're afraid because of our wisdom. We know that fire might burn us, or we know that a snake might bite us, and that wisdom causes fear. There are two paths to anxiety and depression. When we dwell too much in the future, we become anxious. When we dwell too much in the past, we become depressed. But when we are in the present, we are satisfied, we feel normal. We're not depressed and we're not anxious. We choose to be happy or sad. We control our emotion when we are in the present. Just like time, there is space. When we dwell too much into the small spaces, we become anxious. When we dwell too much into the large spaces, we become depressed. Just like we become anxious when we dwell too much into the future, and we become depressed when we dwell too much into the past. In the past, we feel depressed because we feel things did not go as well as they could have. Things were not as good as they could have been. But remember, you were making decisions based on what you knew at that time. When we dwell too much in the future, we become anxious because we have no idea what might come. We are uncertain. We have to make decisions, and we fear that we might make the wrong decision. When we dwell too much in the large, in space, we become depressed because we feel meaningless. We feel a sense of meaninglessness. We feel that we are too small and too unimportant for this vast universe. But when we dwell too much on what's close to us and what's small, we become anxious. We feel that we have too much responsibility. We feel that we have to take care of everybody and everything. We feel that we have to take care of every detail of life ourselves. And finding balance between anxiousness and depression in both space and time will bring your mind to balance and to peace. It will remove certain fears. It will remove a lot of stress. As you begin to understand this concept of removing fear and removing stress, of relaxing and balancing yourself in both space and time, the clarity of mind will begin to increase. You will follow your passions more closely when you are in the present. Your awareness will bring itself closer to you, to yourself. And that is exactly what we do when we meditate and focus on our breath. We bring our awareness from all over the world and all over the universe to ourselves. And with that awareness comes energy. With that energy, we begin to heal. We begin to relax. And with that energy, when we are healing and relaxing, we are able to go deeper inside ourselves, inside our memories, inside our brains. We become better at remembering things, as well as better at choosing what not to think about, what not to remember, what not to care about. We become better problem solvers. So now let us talk about some ways of thinking. So one of the ways of thinking is a logical progression, like a computer program. If, then, else, else if. If I go to the supermarket, I can buy groceries. If I buy groceries, I can come back and cook. If I cook, I have to clean. If I have to clean, then I have to go and buy cleaning supplies. So I should have cleaning supplies along with my groceries. Once I come back, what would I like to cook? If I cook vegetables, it will be healthy. If I cook some tasty food, junk food, perhaps, might not be good for me, but I would enjoy it. I've had a tired day, so maybe I want to enjoy myself tonight. This is kind of logical, progressional thinking, which works for some things and doesn't work for other things. Sometimes you have a hard problem to solve, a hard decision to make, and a logical, progressional thinking is just not getting us there. We have to make complex decisions. In fact, your body makes a lot of complex decisions all the time without you having to constantly think through these logical progressions. It knows. When you sleep, your body thinks about these things. How does it do that? Your brain fires neurons. It fires lots of neurons simultaneously. And each neuron firing simultaneously, creating different scenarios in different parts of your brain. Your brain analyzing the different scenarios, and finally picking and choosing the scenario that it likes. So this is a different way of thinking. So when we meditate, we can actually think in this way. We can take a problem that we would normally think by using a logical progression and allow that problem to consume us, and through the consummation of our brain, maximize scenario building and discovering which scenario might help us best solve that problem. But how exactly does our brain decide what it likes? What would it like? So, to understand this, we need to understand in more depth the three basic parts or cores of our brain. The innermost core of our brain is the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain mostly works on survival instinct, fear, hunger, run, fight, flight, think, doesn't think. Okay? So, if you're a lizard, you see danger, you either fight or you flight. You don't contemplate how you should react or act during that situation. If you're a snake, you do the same thing. But if you're a dog, you see something, you don't think fight or flight. Because on top of that mammalian brain, or reptilian brain, you have a mammalian brain. That mammal brain, it has the reptilian brain for fight or flight or fear or hunger, but along with that it has a brain for liking. It has a brain for pleasure. It wants certain things. It wants to be pleased, it wants to be tickled, it wants to it wants savory food. A snake might not care about what it eats, but a dog certainly does. A dog is very picky about its tastes. So is a rat, so is a cat, and so are humans, and elephants, and dolphins. Because all of us have a mammal brain on top of our reptilian brains. We succumb to pleasure, to liking, and this mammal brain is what determines what we like. Now, on top of this mammal brain, we have the human brain, which is our third layer. The human brain does not simply run, fight, flight, hunger. It also simply does not go for pleasure. It also has the ability to think about, should it pursue this pleasure? Should it care? Should it really run or fight? So a human, when he encounters another animal, might do neither. He might not fight, he might not run. He might simply pet the animal, try to make friends with the animal, or feed the animal, or trap the animal. But whatever he decides to do is neither based on pleasure alone, nor based on survival instinct alone. It's based on logical thinking. And once we understand this concept, we can begin to understand that a lot of our fears for spiders, for dogs, for heights, for claustrophobic spaces, they come from our survival instincts, from our reptilian brains. And we have the ability to overcome them using our human brains. And when we meditate, we can create these scenarios in our mind and allow us a safe environment in which to fight our fears. We can allow our awareness to go and jump from a cliff during our meditation practice, and allow our awareness to fly around freely, to run through fire and to walk on water. We can allow our awareness to go out into the universe free and unbounded. We can allow our awareness to create any kind of situation that we like. We can visit other planets. We can visit aliens. We can visit our understanding of God. We can visit the past. We can visit the future. We can meet saints and gentlemen and pirates of the past. We can travel into the future. We can see spaceships. We can fly. We can explore. We can lose the sense of time. We can discover. We see many strange things when we meditate into the future and the past that we have never seen in our real lives. These strange things may be undescribable with words and are best experienced through the process of meditation. So, this is where some religions begin to challenge the human awareness traveling around freely, unbounded, having the ability to see the future and the past and other planets and aliens and all kinds of things, because those religions want to control us. They want to tell us that no, their way is right, and if you are seeing these other things, you have found the way of the devil. But it is not so. It is simply your awareness traveling and understanding the universe and what it is and how it is. So, now let us come back and bring our awareness back to ourselves. And as we bring our awareness back to ourselves, we can begin to learn about the things in our own world. We can learn how people think. We can learn why people behave the way they behave. We can understand our mistakes in life. We can overcome our own fears. And we can do much, much more. If you understand, then everything you do, everything you say will work in your favor, and you will achieve an enlightened state where you will do things in your life based on your knowledge, based on the understanding of your awareness, allowing yourself to connect, be balanced, relaxed, without ego, without desire, with wisdom and habits that support your well-being. As your awareness goes around and you learn to overcome your fears, this is very powerful. As you begin to understand the world for what it really is and challenge all the false beliefs that go around, you no longer believe in hearsay, but you begin to believe in what you have truly experienced firsthand through your awareness. Your confidence increases and you are not as worried about what people think, and you begin to live like the person you are. These are some of the ways in which meditation changes you, improves you, in life. There are many types of meditations you can use to pursue. You can pursue cleaning of your different chakras. You can pursue inner gazing meditation, vipassana. You can pursue tratak meditation. Or you can simply watch your breath, relax, and be your own being.